afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tesla's 2021 annual meeting of stockholders.
Our mission is clear. The automotive sector and the energy sector have to become fully electric.
We'll prioritize batteries for vehicles, but then use any excess cells that we have in the Powerwall and Megapack. Because over time, we think the demand for stationary storage is going to be at least as high as the demand for vehicles. Solar and wind, but I think primarily solar will be the main source of energy, of sustainable energy. AI is going to be a very important part of the future. Self-driving is obviously one of the functions.
Tesla Throwback Thursday. Today we take a look at the 2021 annual meeting of stockholders. As always, this will be a hypercut just to highlight some of the things that Tesla has promised and find out whether or not those forward-looking statements were grounded in reality, maybe empty and or hollow. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tesla's 2021 annual meeting of stockholders. My name is Martin Viecha, and I'm Tesla's Senior Director of Investor Relations. But before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to Robin Denholm, the Chair of Tesla's board, who would like to say a few words.
Well, welcome to the 2021 annual shareholders meeting here in virtual form this year. We hope next year that we'll be able to have our regular in-person gathering, just like we have over the last decade. So in the 12 months that ended September of 2021, we've delivered over 800,000 vehicles. We've also started new production lines in Shanghai. We've commenced the pilot production of our own in-house battery cells. And on top of that, we've constructed 2 new gigafactories on 2 different continents, including the one that we're here today in Texas. Our mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy remains at the center of what we do. Over the last 12 months, Tesla has continued to help shift the public perception of electric vehicles, and it wasn't too long ago that many people were still questioning the future of EVs. I would say that today that's no longer the case. There is no doubt that the transition to sustainable transportation and the transportation industry is turning electric. In many places around the world, you can't drive down the street without seeing many Teslas, which to me is an incredibly proud thing and a testament to our progress.
I love when I see other Tesla vehicles on the roads, parked in the driveways in my little cul-de-sac here. That's what Tesla Sunday Grew's all about. In addition to jamming to some tunes, I'm cataloging the adoption rate of Tesla in the greater Houston area in real time. I know we're not at Cali level yet here on the Third Coast, but we're getting there.
We believe that we're only at the beginning of what the long journey ahead that we have. By 2030, we are aiming to sell 20 million electric vehicles per year and deploy 1,500 gigawatt hours of energy storage.
Tesla's not just saying this. Even if they don't reach 20 million vehicles per year by 2030, you have to expect them to land somewhere in that area. Just stop and think what the ramifications of that is. Tesla sells 15 million vehicles in 1 year. That's unheard of. They're aiming for 20.
Our mission is clear. The automotive sector and the energy sector have to become fully electric. And lastly, I wanted to say thank you to you, all of our shareholders. You are an intrinsic part of our journey and this unique journey. We're proud to say that our shareholder base is probably the most committed, most active, and most engaged base I've ever seen. Thank you for spreading the word for us, for being with us through our ups and downs, and we wouldn't be here or where we are today without your support, and we are focused on continuing to deliver to our mission and for you for many years to come.
Without a shadow of a doubt, my pleasure.
Now I will hand it over back to Martin, who's the chair of our meeting today.
We have a majority of all the outstanding shares represented at the meeting, so I declare that there is a quorum present and that we may proceed with the meeting. The items on the agenda are as follows. Number 1, the election of 2 Class II directors, James Murdoch and Kimball Musk, to serve for a term of 2 years. Number 2, to adopt amendments of our Certificate of Incorporation to reduce director terms to 2 years. Number 3, to adopt amendments to our Certificate of Incorporation and bylaws to eliminate applicable supermajority voting requirements. And number 4, to ratify the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP as Tesla's independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year 2021. Tesla's board has recommended that our stockholders vote for each of the director nominees and for proposals 2 and 4. We have also received 5 stockholder proposals as described in our proxy statement. The first stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding reduction of director terms to 1 year. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this stockholder proposal.
At our 2020 annual meeting, 56% of shares voted in favor of my advisory proposal eliminating supermajority requirements. The board is now letting you vote to repeal those supermajority requirements through proposal number 4. However, notice the board takes no position on this measure. That probably means Elon Musk and his inner circle are voting against it. Without this measure obtaining a 67% approval rating, neither the board's proposal to move to 2-year terms or mine to move to 1-year terms will pass. This is essentially a way for the board to look like they want to increase the frequency of elections without actually doing it.
The second stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding additional reporting on diversity and inclusion efforts. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this stockholder proposal.
Tesla's leadership is 83% male and 59% white, despite having what the company describes as a majority-minority workforce, all at a time in which Tesla's customer base is evolving and growing more diverse.
The third stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding reporting on employee arbitration. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this stockholder proposal.
The use of mandatory arbitration limits employees' remedies when it comes to both harassment and discrimination. Precluding employees from suing in court, often keeping underlying facts, misconduct, and case outcomes secret, these clauses may allow harassment and discrimination to continue, hidden from other employees and from investors.
The fourth stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding assigning responsibility for strategic oversight of human capital management to an independent board-level committee. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this stockholder proposal.
Investors are increasingly focused on the essential role that effective human capital management plays in creating long-term shareholder value, and to the material risks created by poor human capital management practices, such as those exhibited by Tesla. That 4 of the 5 shareholder proposals at today's meeting focus on worker and human rights should serve as a wake-up call to the board.
The fifth stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding additional reporting on human rights. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this stockholder proposal.
Today, I represent the Sisters of Good Shepherd, New York, as shareholders, and the project participants of Bon Pasteur in the cobalt mines around Kolwezi in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Similar human rights proposals filed by the sisters received nearly 25% investor support last year. And we again urge all Tesla shareholders to support Proposal 9.
I declare the polls are now closed. I'd like to announce on a preliminary basis that our stockholders have approved the recommendations of the Tesla board on all agenda items except item 2 regarding the reduction of director terms to 2 years, item 5 for an advisory vote regarding the reduction of director terms to 1 year, and item 6 for an advisory vote regarding additional reporting on diversity and inclusion efforts. While over 99% of shares present are entitled to vote on item 2, did so as recommended by the board, unfortunately less than 66.7% of our total outstanding shares, which were required to approve this item, submitted votes for this item. That concludes the official business of today's stock shareholder meeting, which is now adjourned.
As a Tesla shareholder, this is why you should always vote. Make sure the company is headed in the direction that you want it to go.
All right, welcome to the annual shareholder meeting. Coming to you live from Austin, Texas. We have record vehicle deliveries. I mean, I think this might be the fastest that any large manufactured object has grown. But, it looks like we have a good chance of maintaining that into the future, really dependent on supplier challenges. So if we can get the chips, we can do it. I feel confident of being able to maintain something like this, at least above 50% for quite a while. The Model 3 became the best-selling premium vehicle globally. I mean, I almost got arrested at one point for claiming that we'd do 5,000 a week, literally. You're laughing now. We think the Model Y will be the best-selling vehicle of any kind globally. So we think it will exceed the Model 3. I think we've got a good chance of it being the best-selling vehicle by revenue next year, and then I think quite likely to be the best-selling vehicle in just of any kind numerically in 2023.
This man can see the future.
Basically, we need Austin to get online and Berlin to get online and reach volume production, and then I think that's going to happen. In terms of free cash flow generation, obviously we had some tough years back then. Things were looking a little dicey, to say the least, in 2017 and 2018. But we got through that, and now things are looking really good. So I think we'll see continued strong cash flow generation, especially as you multiply unit volume times autonomy and increased efficiency in the factories. Tesla's open to licensing autonomy because I think autonomy will be such a significant lifesaver and preventer of injuries that it is not a technology we want to keep to ourselves. So I think it will be morally right to license it to other manufacturers if they would like to use it. And of course, we made a lot of progress on cost reduction. Getting the average price down and gross margin up is very difficult, but we've managed to do that. Our goal really is to make the cars as affordable as possible. We are seeing significant cost pressure in our supply chain, and so we've had to increase vehicle prices, at least temporarily, but we do hope to actually reduce the prices over time and make them more affordable. We are going to need a lot of batteries, and this is going to be a combination of batteries from our suppliers. And in supplier discussions, some of our suppliers have just asked me outright, are we going to just, put them out of business or something? I'm like, not at all. As many cells as you want to make and supply to us at an affordable price, we will buy. No limit. I'm like, oh, okay. So do you want to, increase by 100%? Sounds good to me.
Worried about Tesla putting you out of business? There's no such thing. There is no limit to the amount of batteries that we need. We couldn't put you out of business if we wanted to. We need you to keep making batteries as fast as you possibly can. And we will buy them all. We will buy them all.
So the basic plan is we're really going to order a lot, and we have ordered a lot of batteries from suppliers, basically telling suppliers literally go as much as you can make, we'll take. We'll prioritize batteries for vehicles, but then use any excess cells that we have in the Powerwall and Megapack. Because over time, we think the demand for stationary storage is going to be at least as high as the demand for vehicles. So we've got a plan to reduce the cost per kilowatt hour of batteries. We'll make cells, they'll make cells, we'll use them all. We've got 3 new factories. Giga Shanghai has done an incredible job, and Giga Shanghai now exceeds Fremont. The best quality, lowest cost, and also low drama, so it's great. It kind of makes sense, especially for the high volume vehicles, to have production that's at least on the continent where the consumers are. the basic idea is have the high volume vehicles be where the customers are.
Next generation vehicle: Austin, Berlin, Mexico, Shanghai. In a couple of years, Tesla will be making this very high volume vehicle in multiple factories around the world. Many people wonder, how in the world is Tesla going to get to 20 million vehicles per year? That's how.
Approximately, at least. These factories will have cell production in them as well. So this will be really kind of raw materials in, cars out. And you know, Tesla is certainly a company that tries very hard to do the right thing in all respects. We try very hard to do the right thing in all respects. We don't always succeed. But if you're looking for a company where you can say, is that company really trying to do the right thing? That is Tesla. Okay, we really try.
No doubt a response to the proposals presented in the annual shareholder meeting. I'm in the camp that Tesla's doing about everything that they possibly can do to do the right thing. And it's not easy, but there are individuals that'll never be satisfied, engaging in more and more nonsense that has nothing to do with the overarching mission to accelerate the world to a sustainable energy economy. That's the problem that needs to be solved. If your primary focus is on superfluous things that are indeed important, but not a part of the mission, you will eventually lose sight of what the goal is. And compared to other companies within this mega cap, Tesla looks mighty damn fine.
As I was mentioning, we've got the 3 parts of a sustainable energy future: solar and wind, but I think primarily solar will be the main source of energy, of sustainable energy, and energy in general. And then you need to store that energy with stationary battery packs, and then you need electric vehicles and electric airplanes and boats and whatnot. The average life cycle emissions in the US, this is only going to get better as we move to a sustainable energy grid and electric vehicles. Then obviously we move to a fully sustainable energy economy, which is where we want to get to as quickly as possible. The sooner the better. Can there be a carbon tax? I mean, what the hell, you know? People sometimes say like, oh, carbon tax, that would benefit Tesla. I'm like, yeah, but it would hurt SpaceX. So how about the carbon tax, which is really needed. And of course, you can recycle battery materials. So you can think of batteries as essentially high-grade ore. So you can either get your lithium and your nickel and the various constituents of the battery from rocks or from batteries. It's much better to get them from batteries. Batteries are basically high-grade ore. Tesla has already started recycling, and there are lots of companies that are going to do recycling because it basically pays to do recycling for batteries.
Ding, 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 ding. Tell him what he's won, Johnny. Your mother right. I get a lot of arguments saying that nobody recycles, nobody does this. Nobody's going to do this for electric vehicles. We're just going to be wasting all of these materials. They're going to end up in landfills. Not if there's gold in that recycling. We're not talking about newspapers and glass bottles here, folks. We're talking about complex manufactured objects worth tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, it's got to make dollars for it to have any chance of making any sense.
Increased extreme weather events, and there's like wildfires, and here in Austin there was a massive snowstorm that turned the power off. I was actually in Austin for that snowstorm in a house with no lights, no power, no heating, no internet. Couldn't actually even get to a food store. If you could get to a food store, there was no food there. That went on for several days. However, if we had the solar plus Powerwall, the car would have had lights and electricity, and actually if you had a Starlink internet, you'd have internet too.
I too was present for this snowstorm. The only house in the cul-de-sac that had power. Since that snowstorm, I added a couple more power walls and more solar panels to the roof. It don't take me all day to recognize sunshine.
So in factory safety, we've made huge improvements on factory safety. We're now 18% better than the industry average. AI Day, I think it was important to change the fundamental perception of Tesla, because people they sort of think of Tesla as a car company, and yes, we make cars, but the AI part of Tesla was not well understood. AI is going to be a very important part of the future. Self-driving is obviously one of the functions. I'm excited to announce that we're moving our headquarters to Austin, Texas.
Don't mess with Tesla, baby! And I believe that's a good part to cut it off right there. Tesla 2021 Annual Meeting of Stockholders, Part A. We'll save the Q&A for next week. Professor Hustle's office hours are in the comments below. Be easy. Peace.